It's Club 937, Artimis here. Legendary status going on right now in the club studio. Ever since I moved to Flint, man, I've been wanting to talk to you. Bootleg of the Dayton Family, man.
Yes,
this
indeed.
is huge. This is huge. What's going on, man? How you living?
Hey, beautiful, man. I'm blessed, you know.
Now, we got a lot to talk about, man. You know, I want to talk about the new projects that you have going on. I want to talk about, first of all, the Dayton Family and the legendary status that it has in Flint. I mean, when you think of Flint music, you think of the Dayton Family.
Yep, definitely. I appreciate it.
It's huge, man. I mean, did you ever think, like, back in the day that it would be this legendary as what it was, you know, when you first started?
Well, you know, back then when we first kicked it off and jumped it in, man, we was just doing it to really entertain our friends, man, our neighborhood, and make everybody happy. You know, back then it just felt good to make music.
Mm-hmm.
It gave us some freedom to get away from the negative things that was happening in the neighborhoods, and it gave us an outlet to voice all the opinions we had, man. We were very opinionated young men, you know, so that's what it was for us, starting off.
You know, and I compare you guys a lot to, like honestly, like the Wu-Tang of Flint. I mean, when you think about it, like, you hear songs like FBI, and you guys were living that lifestyle.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
you still go to Dayton today, and it's I mean, it's nothing to play with.
I was just at the liquor store.
Yeah. I mean, I hear your name all the time, like, oh man, I just saw Bootleg the other day, and it's like, what? Like, Bootleg's still in the area.
Never invisible, man. I try to stay close to my people, man. Give them some motivation, you know.
Right.
I like to keep them hoping and, you know, dreaming and understanding that Flint ain't just a trap, you know. It's a place that we can survive and struggle together. So,
Right.
yeah.
You know, I've done radio in a couple different markets, and Flint's got the culture, man.
Definitely.
And there's so many artists in the area that are just like booming right now. That, you know, are there a couple artists that you see out there that you're like, man, those are the next up and comers? And I mean, do you kind of motivate them and mold them?
From Flint?
Yeah.
Oh man, yes, a lot of talented brothers here, man. I try to support everybody, man. I believe that you should lift up as many people as you can, man. You know, Cliff Mack, that's a good guy of mine. You know, I like the lifestyle entertainment movement with Cassius and you know, Gundry Hood Zeke. You know, it's a whole lot of young brothers, man, that's out there grinding, man. And I'm always open if they come to me.
Right.
You know, for guidance and counsel, I'm always there, man, to give my knowledge and wisdom. I try to pass it on, because maybe they're the next thing to kick it open for me. They might do something to help me get on the world tour or something. So, you know, I support everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and even you were featured on that song with Cassius and Zeke back in the day. What's that song called? I'm trying to remember.
None of my ends don't play that.
Yeah. I mean, that song, that was an anthem for Flint.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you see that, you got Cassius on it, which we've had Cassius in the building, and I mean, you look at the lineup there, and it shows the amount of culture and the amount of talent here in Flint.
Definitely.
Now you got a couple new projects. Speaking of Cliff Mack, you got him on the Street Related, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, and then of course you got Problems. Now, what was the concept behind? I mean, you released 2 projects.
Yeah.
Most people, I mean, you got rappers, you know, all around the country tour 2 projects a year, and that's it. You released them just back to back.
Yeah, definitely. I had a whole lot to say, actually, man. The state of the rap game was bothering me, for one, and I was tired of riding to the same sound and stuff every day.
Right.
So I said, let me give my people something different. Something grown to listen to, something that makes sense.
Yeah.
Something that's not cluttered with metaphors and punchlines all through it everywhere. And I just wanted somebody to have, you know, the people to have a different feel of music.
Right.
And my Flint people wanted to hear their story.
Right.
I didn't feel like Flint was being represented in nothing I was hearing, really.
Right. And now I feel like, you know, it goes back to Flint being represented, but now it's in a negative light again with the Flint water crisis, and of course last night with the, you know, or 2 nights ago with the Justice for Flint, that was huge for the area, you know, having the artist out there. Yep. But what do you think needs to happen as far as like the Flint water crisis goes? Because I mean, you've lived in the city, you've lived here your whole life.
First off, I want to say, I want my people to take responsibility for one thing first, initially, to vote for one. Because we shouldn't have a Republican whole brand. Lansing shouldn't be representing us in the state it is, Republican-wise, I mean.
Right.
We should vote. It should be a Democratic everything in Flint. And the surrounding of Detroit, you know, keep it 100 with you, you know, we African-Americans, and if we voted, we would be in a better position today.
Right.
Now, with that being said, what they've done is just straight criminal to me.
Right.
I try to compare it, you know, my simplest way to compare it is to compare it to Kwame Kilpatrick and the thing that he did running off with the money and got 20 plus years in prison.
Right.
And the governor poisoned the entire city. And is he in Ann Arbor drinking at the pubs?
Right.
You know, I live in Ann Arbor right now. And he out drinking at the pubs in the $2 million condo in Ann Arbor. And he's responsible for one of the most horrific crisis in history.
Right.
You know, and that's what angers me. I don't think there's enough accountability being placed on the governor.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And I think it's one of those situations too, to where, like you said, it's so important to vote. My thing has always been, you can voice your opinion as much as you want, but if you don't vote, you don't have an opinion.
That's right.
I mean, everybody wants to be a Facebook justice warrior, social media warrior, and
right.
you know, voting is very important. Now, as far as like Facebook and Twitter go, do you Facebook and Twitter? Because I see you as a person that kind of, you know, you do your thing on there, but you kind of, you know, you're still in the streets too.
Definitely. You know what, man? If it wasn't for this brother right here, Kerry Horton, you know, I wouldn't touch, you know, social media. But I know it's you know, it's very important now to reach the masses now to do it. I feel like it's a little too gossipy and it's just too much, you know, extra on the internet for me. And I like truth. I like to deal with the truth, and a lot of the things on the internet that throw out there be fake and lies. You don't know what's honest, what's dishonest, you know, so I try to keep it simple. I get on there, you know, express myself, you know, let people know what I'm doing, and then I'm back to life.
Now, with these projects right here, I want to talk about these projects because if someone is new to Bootleg and the whole Dayton Family, you know, sound, what would you explain to them that would encourage them? Because I mean, you listen to music that's out now, not to bash what's out now, but it's a lot of just catchy. That's all that it is.
Right.
It's the same beat over and over again. It's gimmicks.
That's right.
What would you say to someone who's new to checking out Bootleg and the, you know, in Dayton Family?
If you're looking for some music that you can put to the background of your life, some music that you can relate to and say, that's what I feel. You know, I wake up feeling that same way, or I've done those things, I've made those mistakes. If you want some truth and some honesty about life, not just the ups. I'm not a bragger, so I'm not, even when I'm winning, I'm still humble. So if you want some humble music, some music that you can relate to, that's real life, not no exaggeration and not throwing out goals and things that are unachievable for the average person, I'm the person to listen to. I'm going to give you the truth, what you wake up to every day. The pit bull conversation. I'm going to give you the on the couch playing the Xbox conversation. I'm going to give you the real life, what you feel and live. And I can admit my pain and my thoughts. See, that's what rap falls short to me nowadays. If you listen to it, I ain't heard a broke rapper in years. I ain't heard a rapper admit they hurting or can't pay their bills or everybody rich. Everybody is balling. Everybody. And why you can't just shoot a video in your regular car you drive every day? Why do you have to shoot a video in a Bentley? A Bentley is not a stamp of nothing. You can rent one now. That's not nothing. You know, to people that really got money, they look at you in the Bentley and be like, man, why you do that? That's not even you.
And I think it goes back to even like, you know, like songs like Rocks the Cradle, you know, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and that whole scene back then was about being real.
Definitely.
You know, and I think that rappers nowadays, as much as, you know, everybody likes their turn up music, you know, and that's cool for you know, a couple hours, but at the end of the day, the Dayton Family and you have always been about talking about the real.
Definitely, man.
And that's what you're going to get on Street Related and Problems, and of course we're going to give away some copies for that. Bootleg, the legendary, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Thanks for having me.
And always repping Flint. You're one of the core artists here in Flint, man.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Flint Town, stand up.
And of course, bootleg TDF.com. Of course, put out your social media as well. You just go to
you go to bootlegtdf.com, and everything else is there. The Facebook, the Twitter, everything you need to reach me is there. The Instagram, everything is right there. Bootleg TDF is like the Dayton Family. Bootlegtdf.com. You can get the Reverb Nation pages, everything right there, and all kind of we're gonna do all kind of giveaways and all kind of you know, clothing and merch, everything right there.
Awesome.